Hi guys, how are you guys today? Praise the Lord. This is just a quick video. Um, I had a request from a Kiari Diana 9749. She asked me a question. If you find that your daughter has been groomed and to be taken advantage of, what do you do? Okay. Now, from a biblical standpoint, if a man has forced himself on a woman that is a virgin, he is to marry her. But if it's a child, and it don't say this in the Bible, but I can imagine that if it's a child, because in scripture it also says that if a man find a woman and lay with her and she has been married and she's married, then you are to stone that man to death. So I would put that also for a child. However, that is the Old Testament, and people don't live by the Old Testament. And the law of the land don't work by the biblical ways. So, with that being said, I can only tell you I have not been in a situation where where my daughters have been groomed. Okay, so I can't tell you from a personal aspect, but I can tell you this. I was molested when I was 5, 6 years old. I don't remember all of this um the I don't remember all of the facts behind me being molested. So I really can't speak with that as testimony either. I could just say that I was molested. And I could say that one of my daughters were molested at age 8. Um eh. However, I don't believe she was groomed because the guy did he was a guy I was dating. And I can't say she was being groomed, that she had been groomed, but I can say that she was molested. And this guy was a guy that I found out later after we had went to court, and the police and stuff started talking to me. Actually, when the police brought me my subpoena to go to court because I had tried to kill the guy, and the state had to press charges on me, and he began to tell me background about this guy, and come to find out that he had did it before to another young lady's kid, and that woman ended up marrying him after it was all said and done. After the incident with her kid, and then the incident with my kid, and right before he went to court, right before he went to jail, that woman married him. And for the life of me, I don't know why. Um, but when she had did this, when he had molested her child, um, she was pressing charges, but then her family talked her out of pressing charges. And what she did was she stopped pressing charges, and they let him out. And her family beat him to the point where he was in the hospital for 3 4 months. This is what the police officer was telling me. That police officer was in tears because he felt and understood what I had did. He said that no one wanted to bring me those papers for me to go to court because then none of them agreed with me being charged for doing what a parent would do and should do. Um, they beat that man to a pulp. He was in the hospital for 3 4 months, and that had happened. I think it was like 3 4 years before he met me, and he did this to my 8 year old daughter. By law, the law will say if you find out your child has been groomed and someone is touching or planning to touch her and you have evidence or you saw or the child is talking and telling you what happened, then you call the police and you let the police deal with it. That's what the law of the land says. Um, but being a parent and having been in that situation and going through that, and seeing your child, just a little bitty thing that is supposed to be protected by her parent or parents, but her dad had walked away. Their dad had left by the end. And to see the emotional damage that had been done to my child. As a mother, at that particular moment, there was no rationale. There was no rationale at all. There was no one there to stop me. There was no one there to intervene on his behalf. And I literally tried to kill this man. I tried to kill him. I went to court, and the judge said he understood where I was at. But because by law, I was wrong, he didn't put me in jail, but he did give me a fine. God was with me. I didn't kill him, but I tried. By the time I got my daughter to the hospital, he was already there, talking to police, wanting to press charges on me. But when I told the nurse what was going on with my daughter and why I had brought her in, whew, why I had brought her in, she told me that she had someone of his description, and it sounded like the name, Michael Mitchner, in the room across the way. And she went over, she said, hold on, let me go over here and get one of these officers. So she went and got an officer, and the officer came back, and we were talking to him. He took the statement. He went over there, and they took him to the hospital, to the jail immediately without him even being attended to. The doctor had never even gave him, he didn't even get treated. Just took him on to jail. Whew. He was let out before his time, and I wasn't warned. He walked right up on me, and I didn't know. That was the worst day of my life. One of the worst days, pretty much the worst day of my life. Because they were supposed to warn me that he was getting out on parole, and they never did, to give me a chance to ask them not to let him out, but they never told me. And I went straight to the prosecutor's office, and they couldn't tell me anything. They couldn't give me any answers. So, I went through it for a minute, even after then, but I never told her. I didn't tell her that he was out for a couple of years. So when you ask that question, what do a parent do if you find that your child has been groomed and is being touched? What are you supposed to do? I could just tell you, follow the law of the land or follow your heart as a parent. The law of the land has been, there are some men right now that's in jail. The baby had been, I can't remember her name right off. Let me see if I could get her name right quick. She's been missing since January, and she's all over the internet now. She's all over the internet, and the guy that did it has been arrested. She was 13. He had been having an affair with her. Not an affair. He had been sleeping with this baby for some years. Dating the mother, the auntie, I think it was. And it gave him access to her. No, it was the mother, which gave him access to the daughter. And the parent, the aunties and whatnot had been telling this woman that this guy shouldn't be around her kids, but she wouldn't listen. So to me, personally, I feel that the mother, as well as the guy, CPS had been called, and I feel that even CPS dropped the ball. They also should be charged. Um, so, oh Jesus, it was a lot of people in this factory. Come to find out, this 41-year-old man had been had been. It wasn't his first time. He had been sleeping with little girls for some years. For some years, he had been charged before with sleeping with young girls, and one of them being his own daughter. And he did a little time, and he got out, and he did it again. And come to find out, when they found out that he was sleeping with this little girl, they she came up missing because she was pregnant by him. Oh Jesus! Came up missing because she was pregnant by him, and I can't find this baby. I don't know why I can't find her, but I've been following her story, and she came up missing, and they still haven't found her body, but it took place in Detroit, and they still haven't found the baby's body, but the little girl was pregnant, and they're assuming that he's killed her. She was 13, and Jesus, pregnant with his child, and the reason why he did it was because she was 13 and she was pregnant. I think he had been sleeping with that girl since she was 11. Um, Other little girls, I think it was two more girls, have come forward since this started with him sleeping with them. Men like that, personally, some of them can be helped, but then this particular one and those like him that are habitual, I love the Lord and I believe in giving everybody a second chance. But this man has had chance after chance after chance after chance. He's a habitual child rapist. And personally, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong about this, but men like him, they need to be laid down. They need to be laid down because it's a demonic infestation. It's a demonic infestation that causes men and women to molest children like this. You have to fight that spirit, just like me being an alcoholic. I have to, and y'all saying alcoholic and child molestation is two different. No, it's not. They're both demonic forces. They're both demonic spirits. And in order to get free from it, you have to fight it. When that craving come upon you, you say no. And you fight it and you fight it and you fight it till that demon decides to leave you alone. And God will come in and deliver you from that spirit. So when men and women are doing these things, it's a craving from a demonic entity. And they're supposed to be able to fight. They can fight this spirit and say no. No. The Bible tells us, resist the devil and he will flee. And I know it to be true because I was once on drugs. I was once on alcohol. I once was a fornicator. I mean, I've done my things. I've done my dirt. Um, and there all was demonic infestations. And I had to say no, especially fornication. I had to have it. I had to have it. I had to have it. Okay. So until I got to the point where it's like, no, it is wrong by God. I'm harming myself. I'm not harming nobody else when I give my body, which is the temple of God, to a man without it being my husband. I am harming myself. And I am destroying the temple of God when I do such. So I had to get to the place where I had to make up my mind. I am not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. Oh yeah, I've had a couple of falls, a couple of slips, but I'm at the point now where I'm not finna slip or fall anymore. I don't care what the devil bring my way. Oh, the devil know what you like, and he bring that exact thing that you like, make it good and hard for you to say no. But you have to be determined within yourself. This is not right, and I'm not gonna do it. And it's the same thing with child molesters. It is a demon. And you have to resist that demon. And that demon will leave. And then you cry out. And all while you're resisting that devil, you cry out to God for help. You cry out to God for help. And you resist that thing. You say no. But men like this particular man, they arrested him. He's 41 years old. I wish I could find her. I wish I could find it and show you and give you the name. Turn this other phone back on. Maybe I can get to it before I get off this. But when people do that, they're weak. They're not trying to fight. They enjoy that demon on them. They're not fighting it. They enjoy it. And they just freely doing it. So for me, on a personal aspect, I would say those that are habitual, that continue to do this, they need to be laid down to rest. Because they don't like themselves no way. They're not trying to fight this craving. They're not trying to fight. They're not. They are giving in to hurting these children. They themselves more than likely have been hurt when they were a child. And instead of just saying, I'm not going to do this to another kid because I don't want no kid to go through what I'm going through. Instead, they just decide that they're going to do it anyway. They freely let that demon live and operate through them. Now, there have been some that was raping kids and they decided they're not going to do it no more. They fought and they were successful. You have some successful, recovered child molesters in this world because they realized they were wrong and they realized it was a spirit and all they had to do was fight and say no. And that's exactly what they did. But this one that they just arrested, let's see if I can pull it up, or maybe it's on this other phone. This one that they just arrested, that dude, they need to lock him down. Him and any molester like him, they need to lock him down because he's not even trying. He's not trying. Oh, Jesus. Whew. Here he is.
An already horrific story gets worse. A man is charged with murder and sex crimes after investigators say he killed a 13-year-old girl to hide the fact that he had gotten her pregnant. The body of 13-year-old Naziah Harris, though, has never been found.
That's despite a lot of searching since her disappearance in January. Today, disturbing new details came to light as 41-year-old Jarvis Butts appeared in court to face several charges. and not just linked to Neziah. Sean Lay is live with these new revelations. Sean, it is difficult to even say out loud what this man is accused of doing.
I'm glad you said that, Kimberly. Absolutely. Stomach turning every fact that we're revealing and digging on this story. Absolutely. We're talking about motive here. We're talking about a guy, 41-year-old Jarvis Butts, just inside 36th District Court. Prosecutors laying out motive here. That at age 13, Neziah Harris, he got her pregnant. He was reporting to prison. He was turning himself in the very day the Neziah went missing. Prosecutors say he could not allow her to have his baby while he was in prison. It would reveal years upon years of sexual abuse. Here's the latest.
Mr. Butts is a serial child rapist and murderer. The evidence will show that Jarvis Butts has been sexually assaulting Neziah Harris since at least the fall of 2022, and that Neziah Harris was pregnant.
This is the first time we are seeing 41-year-old Jarvis Butts in court, accused of the sexual assault and murder of 13-year-old Neziah Harris. And we learned new information from prosecutors today. Neziah went missing January 9th. On the very same day, Butts was due to turn himself in to serve a year sentence for carrying a concealed weapon. Listen closely to Assistant County Prosecutor Tina Ripley saying Butts had a Neziah Harris problem he had to handle before reporting to prison.
Turned himself in on January 9th of 2024 to serve a year-long sentence for CPW. This date ultimately got moved to February 7th of 2024, allowing him the opportunity and time to take care of his Neziah Harris problem.
Cover up a pregnancy, you hear about a pregnancy, and now you want to make sure that the pregnancy is gone and Neziah disappears.
Tiffany Jennings is Neziah's aunt.
Cover up a pregnancy.
To serve a year-long sentence for CPW. This date ultimately got moved to February 7th of 2024, allowing him the opportunity and time to take care of his Neziah Harris problem.
Cover up a pregnancy, you hear about a pregnancy, and now you want to make sure that the pregnancy is gone and Neziah disappears.
Tiffany Jennings is Neziah's aunt. She has never spoken out before until now. Who's ultimately responsible for protecting Neziah from this guy?
Oh, what a loaded question, right, Sean? In my personal opinion, with no affiliation, there are multiple parties involved, as many have already stated. And I just have to hold on to hope that the entire truth will come to light. This is the beginning of the truth, and we're very grateful for this part, but the entire story will come out.
Quickly to say who Tiffany Jennings is there. She's Neziah's aunt. However, Neziah's dad, that's her sister, so she was not involved in the family goings-ons inside different houses about protecting this little girl. I want to explain who that is. Butts hit with 2 other charges, one for the sexual assault of a girl under the age of 13, and another, his own daughter, apparently, 4 years old, who allegedly gave an STD. I told you, it just keeps getting worse. He is now being held without any bond. Chief White said it best yesterday that if convicted, if all this is true, that he cannot hurt anyone else. That's why Tamara Smith, Board of Commissioners, Police Chief Kim Worthy saying if anyone else feels that they have been assaulted or violated or part of this case, have the bravery to come forward right now. Back to you.
Just awful, awful. All right, Sean, we appreciate it.
Now see, men like him, personally, I think that people like him need to be laid down, because there's no, I don't feel like, it's not that there's no hope for them. They choose not to let it be no hope for them. They choose not to let it be no hope for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, they more than likely it's in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. So more than likely they're gonna lock them up for life. But however, when they get to doing their experiments and all this old different foolishness, these people end up getting out because they choose to let them do their experiments on them and whatnot, and they think they all cured and they all put together. Then they put them out here, and then they start seeing things, and then their old cells start triggering because that experiment ain't working, and they don't find out until it's too late. See, our government is something else. Our government is something else. You know, it don't make sense. People like him, to stop him from hurting our children, he need to just be. They need to just go on and do away with him. Honestly, everyone deserves a second chance, but when you get that second chance, you're supposed to decide to do better. This guy done had two and three and four and five and six chances. He even raped his own 4-year-old baby, gave her an STD, his own child, and gave her an STD. Come on, how much worse can it get? That's the epitome of evil. That is the epitome of evil. So, ma'am, Kiari, I don't know what to tell you to do. Only thing I could tell you to do is follow a mother's heart, or if you're a man, follow a man's heart, follow a father's heart. That's the only thing I could tell you. Do what's in your heart. Either obey the law, which is turn them in. But at the point, I'm gonna tell you, at the point when it happened to my child, like I say, it was no help for me right then. It wasn't no rationale with me at that moment. It wasn't. Even if someone had been there to try to keep me rational, it wouldn't have worked. Because that's my child and I'm supposed to protect her. Her dad walked away. That child was in my care. God gave her to me and her dad. Her dad was an ass that decided to walk away from his responsibility. I didn't. And I wanted to protect my child. And I trusted that thing, and that thing bit me on my hand like the dog that he is. So yes, I did what I did, and I do not regret it. If it happened again, this time I won't try. I will successfully do it. He was able to get away from me. If he hadn't got away from me, he would have been offed. I'm gonna tell you. But again, thank God that he wasn't, because I'll be sitting in prison somewhere probably. But there have been cases where dads walked up and the man was molesting their children and they killed him, or mama walked in and she killed him. There's been cases where they've been set free and the law understood. But then there's cases where the law didn't understand and decided to lock the mom or the dad up. So, and I don't agree with those. If that mother or that dad walked in and seen that man trying to molest their child, they had every right to do what they did. And I believe with my whole heart, even by God, that's a child. We're supposed to protect them until they're able to protect themselves, at least able to fight back. You don't manipulate no child or just come up on them, just force yourself on them. You don't do that. You don't do that. You're taking away their virginity. You're taking away their sanity. You're taking away their whole self-identity when you do stuff like that. You just don't do that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to tell you what thus saith the Lord. And in this situation, I can't tell you what thus saith the Lord. I can just tell you, I know scripture talks about a man raping a woman, but it don't say anything about raping a child. And then I could tell you from my point of view of what I went through as I was raising my children. So, again, I can't tell you what I can't tell you what to do. I could just say I followed my heart. There was no rationale. And then I really believe that if a mom or a dad walked in and saw a man or found out that a man was or a woman was molesting a child or grooming a child, I don't think that a woman or a man would really have any rationale to be able to bring themselves to the point to just call the police. I really personally don't. I don't. Not one that love their children. Unless there's someone there to physically restrain that mom or that dad, I don't think that there would be any rationale. They have to physically restrain that mom or dad and then call the police while you got that person restrained. Other than that, I don't think there's no rationale for a mom or dad unless they don't care. Like in this situation where I just showed you the video of the man being arrested for raping and killing the baby. Now the mom was told when the guy first entered her life that he was a known child molester. Mom didn't want to listen. Now, not only is her child been molested for couple two, I think it was 2-3 years. Not only has she's been molested, she's dead now. See, it pays to listen, and it pays to research. I don't believe in getting in people's background, and even if you find out what's happening in their background, again, I believe in people getting second chances. I believe in that. But when you constantly hurting children, and you're not trying to fight that demon, it's time for you to lay down. It's time for him to lay down. Because he don't want to do no better. He like what he do. He like that devil using him. I don't. My heart goes out to children and youth. It ain't nothing that it's when it comes down to children and youth, man. I've been lied on about doing different stuff to children and youth, but people just don't know my heart. They don't know my heart. I would lay my life down for a child or a young person if I felt that necessary. Let me clean it up, because I got enemies that are stage some stuff. Just understand one thing. I'm not stupid, and I do have a spirit of discernment. So don't go trying to stage nothing to try to fool me, to make me do something that could cause my life. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. So don't waste your time and don't waste mine. Because God will flip that thing around for you to go to jail. You and whoever you use to do such foolishness. Okay? But now, Kiari, Deanna, that's about all I could tell you, baby. I could only tell you my experience. I could tell you where I came from when my child went through it. And I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I've told you what little bit I can tell you about the Lord and his standpoint on it. I've told you what the law states, and I've told you what the position of a mother or a dad would do if they were put in that situation. Now, however you react, that's the way you react. However anyone that go through this situation react, that's just the way you react. When it comes down to your children in situations like that, I can't tell you to do nothing. Follow your heart. That's the best I can do. Call the police. Or that's all I can tell you. I'm not telling you to do nothing wrong, but I'm just telling you follow your heart. You know to call the police, but what I did was I followed my heart. I knew to call the police, but I wasn't thinking about calling no police. I was thinking, where's this? This was before I got saved. Well, I got saved at 5, but I went off doing my own thing. It was before God called me back. And I'm telling you, if I went through it even now, I would do the same thing. I would. Our children are innocent, and they are important to this world. They are God's gift to this world, and we are to protect them, raise them, and nourish them, and keep them close to us, and teach them the things that they need to know in order for them to go forth and live a successful life to the best of their ability. So when it comes down to children, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what I think and how I feel. I've been in this situation. And I don't like that I've been in this situation. I don't like when any parent go through this situation. Or most definitely, I don't like when children go through this. I can't stand it. I hate it with a passion. I hate it with a passion. I hate that more than anything else in this earth, is for children to be used and abused in that foreign, fashioned way. Don't do that to a child. Well, Jesus. Y'all, I love y'all with the love of Christ. I hope this helped you out. But don't say that she told me to kill her. No, I ain't telling nobody to do nothing. I'm just telling you what I did. And I'm telling you what the law say. You call and report them. In my situation, I did what I did. In this man's situation that happened, that killed this baby, I gave you my opinion. Let's clear it up. Because I don't want nobody trying to say, well, she. No, no. We're going to put some disclaimers in this thing. That's what I went through, and that's what I experienced, and that was my reaction. This person that did this to this baby, his little nasty self, and it was more, and they only named 3 on this particular news thing, but he's done it to more than them 3. There's 2 other ones that came forward too. The 4-year-old baby, and anyway, he's done this to several other people because he's been in jail before for doing it. I think to 2 or 3 other ones, and then he'd have done it to this one, and then 2 other ones. He's done it several times. People like him need to be laid down. It's simple, plain and simple. You don't need to know experiments. Now, when you come talking about war and they want to make people, these young men and young women, to sign the paper so that if a war break out, they come and get them and cause them to go to war. Look, you got prisons full of guilty people. Now, you got some innocent people in there which shouldn't be in there. But you got some like this one that's in there. Put their ass out there in that war. Use them to fight for the country. I mean, do something good with yourself for a change. That's the way I feel about it. And I'm Jesus. Instead of sending our children out here to war and messing up them and causing them to be killed. All these prisons full of people y'all got, put them out there on the front line and make them go to war. Train them and send them to war. And I know y'all saying, well, they prisoners and they just going to teach them how to fight. They end up killing us. Well, hell, some of the ones that you train them is criminal minded. They come home and end up going to prison. Some of them end up going to prison before they come home. Y'all don't know the people that y'all be training. At least y'all know these is criminal minded. And y'all know that these criminal minds that y'all got locked up in these prisons. Y'all know they out there fighting for their life. And you know they gonna fight. Some of them in prison for killing multiple people. Use them out there in the military. Use them. Y'all can work it out. Y'all the government. Y'all know how to do everything. Y'all know how to manipulate people to follow y'all lies. Y'all know how to manipulate these prisoners to get them out there on that front line to fight these dumb-ass wars that shouldn't even be going on. Okay? So, y'all, with that being said, I love y'all with the love of Christ. To God be the glory. And till next time, baby girl, baby boy, I hope this helped you out. Till next time, pray about it. Pray about it, Kiara. Till next time, peace. Stay blessed.